Yeah, so we're here with Nemiah Rutledge. He's the owner of
Mhm.
Body Paradox Fitness. Nemiah, how's it going, man?
Oh, it's going pretty good, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate you having me on.
yeah, for sure, for sure. So you are the owner of Body Paradox Fitness.
Yep.
That's in Jacksonville, Florida. And so
Yes.
how long have you been an owner of that company? How long have you guys been in business?
So since 2016, so we're coming up on what now, year seven.
Okay.
So yeah, we've been in business for 7 years. We've been established since 2013, but decided to take that leap of faith
Yeah,
in 2016 to create a LLC
for
and
sure.
soon to be S corp.
Awesome, awesome. So yeah, you guys are out of Jacksonville. One location or multiple locations?
We have multiple locations.
Okay.
We focus on, so what Body Paradox is, it's a corporate wellness and preventative health company. We help build incentive programs and create fitness challenges just for the overall company and their well-being, so we can help lower insurance costs and build camaraderie throughout the company at any capacity that works in the fitness category.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So if somebody wants to look you up in Jacksonville, do they just search Body Paradox Fitness and it'll pop up
You
all the
you just
locations
you just
or?
do no, it does not pop up the locations, and here's why. We customize it. We keep a private, quote unquote, private entity, so
Mhm.
everybody has their own gym. But
Gotcha.
we do have a, yeah, we have a, we don't have any public entities or brick and mortars, because we want to keep the how would you say, the I lost my train of thought, but
Maybe almost like an
privacy. Yeah.
exclusivity kind of thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's exclusive. Definitely, it's
Yeah.
exclusive. Exclusive privacy. That VIP feel. So because end of the day, we thought the reason why we came up with it, because came up with Body Paradox, because we want to bring fitness to you
Mm.
to where you can avoid the excuses.
Mhm.
So why
Mhm.
not bring it to your work?
Yeah, I hear you.
And yeah,
So when you say exclusivity, like if I work at Google and my friend works at Amazon, it's not going to
mhm,
be two corporations working out at the same time. It's just going to be
no,
for Google employees kind of thing.
correct.
That's
But
awesome.
but by you saying that, we do add in another feature with the companies in our wellness package. We do a annual, now semi-annual, with all the corporate entities, where they do a fitness boot camp or
That's
an obstacle
awesome.
course, tug of war contest. It's almost
That's
like
so
having the
cool.
president, yeah, like the president's test all over again
That's
for
awesome.
adults.
That's amazing. So when you guys, so walk me through kind of how, like, I know this will be different based on, each company and different goals and everything, but walk me
Yeah.
through like a generic session, like how are they usually structured? What kind of training is it to start?
So it's a wide variety of training.
Mhm.
So we have from a silver sneakers, couch potato to 5K, all the way up to your bodybuilder, advanced
Mhm.
CrossFitter, and marathon runner.
Mhm.
So the range is wide, is vast and far, as well as progression and trajectory is scaling up. Like,
Gotcha.
where do you want to be? How do you visualize yourself?
Yeah.
And what's your trajectory to what you want to
Mhm.
be. So,
Mhm.
so just to give you an overview, we have Zumba, Tai Chi, yoga, Pilates, bar. Going into the outdoor fitness, indoor desk exercise, posture analysis, and then we work with physicians for lunch and learns, and just overall health tips. And then we create another entity. We create articles and newsletters that we send out, either depending on what the contract looks like.
Mhm.
We send out once a month, a bi-weekly, or every week. It just depends on exactly what the company's looking for, and and how much knowledge they actually want to intake
Mhm.
for their employees.
So basically, if somebody wanted to just get started, you can help them out. But if they're
Oh yeah.
expert gurus on fitness, you can help them out too. You can do pretty much
Oh yeah.
everything in between.
Yes.
So for yourself, I was reading this thing the other day. It's called "Sitting is the New Smoking." Have you read that article?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. So if you, in your professional opinion, had to pick like the three main reasons that people in the workforce or in corporations should be more considerate towards working out, from like a health
Mhm.
standpoint? Maybe that's
Yeah.
blood pressure, maybe that's like, what would you say the top three things are?
So one, oxygen levels. Of course, we know sitting is new smoking. So, but with let's stay on that so that we can give a great visual. Uh, One, lung capacity. By you sitting, you're restricting the lungs
Mm,
from breathing a full breath. Next thing is heart health. Now your resting heart rate is at a slower beats per minute. So at that point now, there's not enough blood flow, hence oxygen in blood.
sure.
Then the next thing is mobility. Being able, so you'll experience more body cramps
Mhm.
just from being confined in the same spot, no matter if you're on a couch or in a perfect chair. So the thing is that you have to do is constantly be mobile, always using the shoulders and back.
Sure.
And sorry, I have to add in another one, text neck.
Mm,
That's a new research as well. So that
yeah.
goes
No,
into
I have that too. I'm tall. I'm always, well, and to your point though, so like what you were really referring to as well, outside of the oxygen and, composition of the
Mhm.
chemistry of your actual blood, which is so important. There's two things
Yes.
that kind of come to mind. Number one, your spine. A lot of people think if I'm inactive, then my spine is safe from injury, but that's actually not
No.
true because your ligaments expand like that, right? And if they're always in
Correct.
positions where they're locked, the next time you
Hmm.
try to move, now they're like glued
Yeah.
together
Now that, yes.
through like scar tissue, through fixed position and repetitive posture, right? So
Hmm.
you tell me, but then your muscles start over recruiting or maybe one side versus the other. So you're actually
Hmm.
10 times more susceptible to injury if you've been stagnant than if you were active, right?
Definitely agree. So to your point, you start to experience muscle imbalances,
Mhm, mhm,
and also compression of the spine. So what we teach, that's what we teach in the company. That is the first thing.
mm,
What does your posture look like,
yeah,
and how can you analyze? How can you self assess your body? Based off of like what type of head movement.
yeah,
If can you bring your chin all the way to the bottom of your neck? Something as
mhm,
simple as that. Can you bring your head all the way up? So we definitely teach a wide variety on why it's important to avoid sitting.
yeah, for
We
sure.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely encourage calf raises all day. Like if you could calf raise, if you could do 100, and we encourage if you can do 100 of something,
Mhm.
you're improving. It may, and you can't measure improvement.
Yeah.
It's just
Well,
impossible.
and
Yeah.
another thing to your point too, like again, like what concerns me about sitting for a long time is all that blood pooling in your legs, right? And it's not
Yes.
oxygenated blood getting back to your heart, it's just hanging out
Mm-hmm.
there, right? So what
Yep.
would you say to someone who sits a lot all day and they're like, "Oh, it's okay, I'll just go do high intensity interval training tonight for 45 minutes." Is that
Uh-huh.
enough to offset 10 hours of sitting because I checked my box, right? I did my 45
Yeah.
hour, my 45 minutes of high intensity. Like, what is your advice on that? Because I think there's a lot of people who think that because they work out an hour at night, that I can
Mm-hmm.
ignore all the 13 hours that came before from sitting, but that's not always the case. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, here, let's give everyone a visual. Question: if you had a car in the snow and you cranked it up once, do you think it'll stay warm all day?
No, no way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the same thing with blood flow. So
Mhm.
typically when you're sitting and that blood is just settling, what can you do? You basically take 5 minutes or 2 to 3 minutes, just like a coffee break, or some people have smoke breaks, whatever that looks like. You're just standing and marching in place. Something as simple as that. Now you're creating uh, muscle memory and also a metabolism. Now you're metabolizing properly.
Yeah.
So therefore, now blood has somewhere to go out.
Yeah.
So and that's now the heart's pumping a little bit faster. You're
Sure.
accelerating the resting heart rate. All
Sure.
just to put all those fun words into play. You're as long as you can keep the heart rate accelerated at a short duration throughout the day,
Mhm.
then now you don't have to worry about uh, body ailments or muscle imbalances, or even something as critical as having a stroke just from settling blood or blood clots.
Right.
The severities of it. Yeah.
Mhm, and so, like, even the slower your blood moves, the more susceptible you are to clotting, which is all clotting is
Yes.
healthy when you have, like, a cut on your hands or you have some sort of injury,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
unregulated strengths always become weaknesses, right? So if I'm clotting
Correct.
too much, I want to be clotting in the appropriate amount and it'll go in the opposite direction, right? Um,
Yes.
so the next kind of topic for people too is, again, I don't think a lot of people know this. This is just like what I've learned through working out for a little while is
Mm-hmm.
you burn different macros depending on your
Mm-hmm.
heart rate, right? So for example,
Yes.
if I want to go and I want to lose a bunch of fat, most people do what? They get on a treadmill. But
Yeah.
here's the thing, tell me if I'm wrong, but like if you sprint for a lot, you're not burning fats, you're burning calories and you're burning
Correct.
sugars, and those are easily
Yes.
digestible because your body's like, holy crap, I have to do something to get energy, right? So
Yes.
do you guys educate, the people that you work with on their macromolecules? And not only, of course, you can track proteins and
Mm-hmm.
fats and carbs, but
Yeah.
also educating them on, if your goal is to lose fat, actually the best thing
Mm-hmm.
for burning fat is keeping it at like that 60% max heart rate
There you
and
go.
lifting weights, right? So
Yeah.
how much of that do you guys do in terms of like
So
the actual scientific part?
so we definitely get into the science and understanding of understanding dietary
Mhm,
supplements, supplement intake, the
mhm,
process of supplement, food consumption, food digestion, and just overall food process.
mhm.
So and how to calculate. We actually teach a calculating class of macros. If you're understanding all the fat diets that are the trend of the day, we give you the pros and cons, and also we bring in professional dietitians and
Awesome.
nutritionists to we even do cooking examples.
Mm,
Hey, here's how much oil is in a burger
that's really
that you
cool.
will purchase. Yeah, that you purchase versus that you'll cook at home.
So you have
So
like
and
visual ways of showing them, because if somebody tells me there's 6 ounces of oil in something, right? Like I may not know, but if I
right,
see it like congealing and it's like in this,
yes.
yeah, so it's cool to like represent that as well.
Oh we walk around. We have the we give we definitely give great visuals. We put oil inside. We'll take an expensive bottle of oil. We'll do wine, something that is worth it to the individual to
Mhm,
spend,
mhm,
and then make it worthless
mm,
for them to eliminate.
that's
So
cool.
so perfect example. If I were to grab this water right here, filled it up with nothing but oil and saturated fats, I show you exactly what the saturated fat looks like. And
Mhm.
then I put a rock in there and say, this is where your muscle is on top of all the fat.
Oh yeah, that's super
Yeah.
cool. That's super cool. And so, like, outside of what you do with corporations and wellness teams and
Mhm.
everything like that, you also speak on some health panels, and that's anywhere from
Yes.
Jacksonville, like through North Carolina, I think you were saying, right?
Correct. Yep.
So,
Yes.
how many of those have you done? How long you been doing it for? And like, do the topics vary? I mean,
Mostly with hospitals and neuroscience, neurosurgeons,
mm,
and health companies such as like Blue Cross and Blue Shield and Humana,
yeah.
and what is it, Allswell, as well. So what we speak on, it does depend on the topic, but they always have me there as their exercise physiologist to speak on or add additional input to what the other physicians are trying to communicate. I just dumb it down for everybody.
Yeah,
So I take
it's
out the
complicated, yeah.
yeah. So I try to make things easy. I was like, if you can't speak to a 5-year old, that means what makes you think a complex adult will understand
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. Yeah, no, and it's true because, like, when I used to coach, it's like if you can't put this in a way that an 8-year-old can understand,
Yeah.
it's not a them problem, it's a you problem. You're not explaining it
Correct.
clearly well enough, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things that's really cool is you and I have talked about like where your business wants to go, obviously, but also you had mentioned some stuff with NASA potentially coming up too in
Yeah.
blood chemistry. So you're literally doing like everything from the individual level, because I'm sure there's some personal training, there's the corporation
Hmm.
markets, there's the education aspect, and now we've got stuff like
Yeah.
NASA. Are
Yeah.
you able to talk a little bit about that, or are we waiting?
I I I can touch a little,
Let's not
a
get you
little.
in trouble. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just whatever you feel comfortable, like.
So So I won't call out the programs,
Sure.
but what we're currently working on, and this was just sheer luck, and blessings, however universe talking, however the audience is going to capture this, but what NASA wants to do is create a system of going out of orbit, coming back in, and for for in the future, for the comment, for every in a general, for general admission, so to speak, for the general person.
Mhm.
And what we're currently working on is understanding the blood type of the individual. Obviously, not even concerned about the BMI or
Sure.
body type. It's all
Mhm.
about the blood,
Yeah.
and how that blood, and how can we provide the proper resources and exercises, with the frequency, with the accuracy, if it's muscle imbalance, however that looks,
Mhm.
whatever the blood is saying, we can now help the individual go out of orbit, your pre-exercises before you're going, and then also your post, because it's going to be hard to actually walk back on land
Oh,
after
yeah.
experiencing zero gravity.
Yeah,
So
well, and
what's
it's all
going to happen?
hydraulics too, right?
It
It's
is
it's the science of how water and fluids is going to move through a confined volume, right? And
correct.
so what you're doing is basically prepping, maintaining during the activity, and then recovering,
Mhm.
which for
There you
blood
go.
chemistry is an incredibly difficult task, no question.
It
It's difficult
extremely.
enough, right? And we're on gravity right
Yes.
now, so
We're still trying to figure it
yeah,
out, but
yeah.
I know for and here's the hidden message behind it. When you're going out of space, when you hit the zero gravity, think of you as on a roller coaster. You don't know what is up, what is down. So you experience a high level accelerated level of
Mhm,
vertigo.
mhm.
So and now with vertigo, what's happening with the equilibrium, and where is the blood actually settling? So if you can now understand uh, core, and how valuable your core is, then you'll be able to sustain
Yeah.
the yeah, you'll be able to sustain proper vertical levels, or blood flow throughout space. So
That's
there you
so cool, and I don't wanna get you in any more trouble or anything, but that is so cool to hear about stuff like that, and it's, like, so amazing to me how versatile your business is because, like I said, anyone who can help individuals is good enough at that level, right? But you're also
yeah.
helping the corporations, you're helping
Mm-hmm.
generations of the future for your education panels and bettering physicians as well because they're
Yeah.
bringing you in because they're like, "No, he's the expert, so he's gonna talk on this," right?
Yeah.
And then so you've got like your kind of 5 tiers that you're kind of rolling through.
Yeah.
I have two questions for you. Number one, what would you say to like someone who looks at someone like you or maybe one of your trainers or people who've been training with you for a little while who are like, that's great for them, but I don't think I can do that, or I don't even know that that's for me. What would you
Uh,
kind of say is the key to, well, number one, the importance of what you're doing, right? But also, how
mhm.
do you get started if you are kind of at that level where you're questioning whether or not you can achieve it?
Well, the very first thing I would ask, what would make it worth it to you to be better?
Mhm, mhm,
That's number one, no matter what category you're in. It could be physical, it could be business related. And then what capacity do you want to be? Do you want to go up vertically, or do you want to go smoothly horizontally?
mhm.
That's the choice. Like, do you want to put yourself even in a bracket? And at that point, now you have a better understanding of what you're trying to sell.
Yeah, yeah,
End
for
of the day,
sure.
yeah. So and when it comes to sales, are you selling the product? Are you selling the emotion?
Mhm, for
Because
sure.
yeah, end of the day, what's going to make it worth it for this person to buy something from you?
Yeah.
It's an emotional attachment. So you have to understand how to work with empathy.
Mhm,
And that's
mhm,
the art of sale.
for sure.
That's the art. Yeah, that's the art of business, is empathy. No matter what, I need something from you, but I don't even know if I need it. And
Yeah.
that's how my business has been. And be confident in knowing that no one knows what you know. Because end
Mhm.
of the day, if you did, you'll be Google.
Yeah. And
Uh,
and then what about like someone, so like let's say I'm like John Smith and I'm like, dude, I've been out of it for so long. I used to be
mm,
a stud when I was in college, but that was 10 years ago. right?
Oh,
And I
mhm,
genuinely like basically it's maybe I'm internally battling, right? Maybe I'm like embarrassed to admit what I was and I'm not that anymore or something like that.
yeah.
What advice would you give to the individual that was like, here's how you get started? You know what I mean?
So so what you call that is a reset and a restart. Um, I have to talk to the individual and say, come to terms that you're not 18 anymore. Come
Mm,
to terms that, hey, with your life, do you have the same hair growth? What has physically changed in your body
mhm.
to that is realistic? It's called a reality check.
Sure.
So I help people come to terms with where they are. And I say, okay, now you're not benching 275, 225. I help you understand, is it necessary?
Mm,
With your lifestyle, is it necessary? You're not a high school star anymore.
mhm.
You're 30 years, that's 15 years down the road. You probably have whatever. I give reality checks.
Would you agree that somehow that like necessity is a product of ego, but also sometimes misplaced? Like when I talk to some of my friends, they're like, "Yeah, I bench 250,"
Mm-hmm.
but they can't run a
Okay,
mile,
good.
right? Maybe
Correct.
so
It's
maybe
not functional.
right. So yours is more functional based, but it's like
Yeah,
no one's saying that 250 is easy and that you shouldn't be rewarded. But if that's what
right,
you want, then that's what you want, right?
right.
But for me, if you can bench 185 and also run 4 miles, like that's
There
fits a
you go.
different individual. So I just think that for me, I guess I was curious if like you how like you have a very functional approach to fitness. I know this, right? But I just
Yeah,
wasn't sure if like you think sometimes we get in our own ways because we like to focus on what we're good at and what's important instead of
yeah.
what could have been improved.
Well, I have a question for you. Um, did you self-educate yourself on it? Why did you
Maybe,
call me?
oh,
No,
maybe, yeah,
that's what I tell the end.
yeah,
When it comes to that level, and you say, "Hey, this is what I want to do. This is what I believe." I say, "Well, has it worked?
yeah.
Why are you talk? What?" And that's not nothing. That's not coming from
Yeah,
a ego level or a hierarchy level. It's basically coming to terms and understanding what's possible.
right,
Like we're not going reality checks, end of the
mm,
day, and transparency. And that's where, like I said, empathy, that's where that ties into.
right,
You can bench that weight. We can build you up to it. But here's 5 other things that are needed in your life. And this will help you in the next 5 years of your life. That's why we're a body paradox.
yeah, and I think
So,
that's awesome, and I think I just wanted to make sure everybody knows exactly why it's called
oh
that, right?
yeah.
Because I've pieced that together, but I wanna make sure, right? And I think the final thing would be, like, you kinda said it this way is, like, "Why are you talking to me?" If everything is
Right.
as good as it is, or it should be, right, then why are we having this
Mm-hmm.
conversation, right? Because it's
Correct.
either the front that I don't wanna admit that I will have something, like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a flexible person. Like, I'm talking about me
Mm-hmm.
right now. I am not
Yeah.
flexible. I can move some weight, right? And I got good
Mm-hmm.
cardio, but I'm not flexible. So
So
when people talk to me about that kinds of stuff, I'm 20 times more likely to be like, yeah, let's go hit a leg day, right? But if it's
yeah.
yoga, nah, dude, sorry.
No.
I promised myself that Sunday is self-care day, and no, I can't do it. So I think it's important that people understand like what exactly body paradox means to them, right?
Yeah.
And then so my
So
final, oh, go ahead.
can I
Yeah,
answer can I
yeah.
answer you for that? So for like I said, this is all for the viewers. So here's what I would do for you, Matt. If you said, "Hey, yoga sucks to me. I don't want to be that flexible." Here's what I'll say. Okay, in between your lifts, why don't you incorporate a compound movement?
Mm,
So if you're going to be squatting, now take take a slow lunge. Go down as slow as possible. So now you can change up tempos.
yeah.
That's what we teach. We teach tempo if you don't want to do, because with tempo, now you can now adjust your body to what that beat or what that movement is
Mhm,
doing. So if you're doing CrossFit, we all know it's fast paced.
yeah.
And then you slow it down to say, okay, now let's just stretch out the arms. But then you have 2 pounds in your hand.
Mhm,
I psychologically help you by saying this actually is yoga
Yeah.
at the very beginning level,
Oh yeah.
meet you where you are.
Yeah,
So
for
you'll
sure.
never know that you're doing it,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, you
but you're
sneak
doing
attack,
it.
right? But it's also a
Yes,
product of like little things stacked on each other consistently for a long period of time will always
correct,
outweigh sprints for, you know what I mean? I want to get this
correct.
done. You're not going to do yoga for 3 weeks and be flexible for the rest of your life, right?
No.
You're going to add 2 or 3 things for each week. And then by the end of a year, you're
Mhm.
going to be like, dang, I remember when I
Yeah,
didn't used to feel this great. Um,
yeah.
and I guess the final thing for you would be, so we talked about like at the individual level, right? When you're talking to corporations, right? I
Mhm,
mean, everywhere you look at American healthcare, I'm saying this, you don't have to. Um, American healthcare to me is completely overrated in all of its
mhm,
priorities. And whether that's, painkillers killing more people
mhm,
than soldiers since 1950,
mhm. Yep.
or heart attacks and cardiovascular and cancer. The number three cause of death in the United States is now actually medical treatment over prescription of
Mhm,
treatments and surgeries, procedures, that kinds of things. So when you go to a corporation, aside from all those like glaring, scary facts, right? Because those are terrifying to me. The fact that the
mhm,
number three cause of death in America is medicine
mhm,
is mind blowing to me, right? Oh, is
mhm.
it probably number two, right? Or number one now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So yeah, so like when you go to corporations, like if someone is like dead set on not providing this for their employees, because I think there's two levels, right? Do you ever
Mhm.
run into it with the decision maker who doesn't want to provide it for their employees? Or do you just say, like as a part of our healthcare plan, we don't want to provide this corporate wellness plan. What would you say is the most important thing to address, like when you're talking to corporations about taking not only consideration for their health for themselves, but for their employees that they're leading as well?
I always say, how fast do you want your production to be?
Mhm.
Without how much more money do you? How is this going to affect? I explain the bottom line.
Mhm.
If I deal with an individual that is so far left or so far right, I say, okay, I mean, that's reading the room end of the day.
Yeah.
And ultimately, this is to everybody. When it comes to sales, I deal with this. I know I'm a black guy who is in shape. I can't sell to everyone.
Mhm.
I know that. That's just sales. I mean, that's just the way it is. Deal with it. So
Mhm.
come to terms with that. So when it comes to an individual who does not want to sell, productivity is number one.
Mhm.
So how fast do you want your production to be? How much how much do you want that product to get out
Mhm.
at a faster pace? Guess what? End of the day, when people endorphins are higher and they're feeling happy, guess what? You're going to always get more.
Yeah.
Always. You always feed the bear honey.
Yeah.
You always feed the bear honey. So,
Yeah.
and that's as simple as it sounds. I'll give you an example. I dealt with the company for years, and they decided to finally work with me. I'm not going to call out their name, but the top person, they said, I don't care to lift weights. I don't care to be healthy, whatever. And the example I gave them, I said, what about your grandkids? I had to go once again sell the emotion.
Mhm.
So, do you want to give reality? How many years do you think you actually have on this earth?
Mhm.
And out of those years, how much of them are fulfilling?
Yeah.
Which ones were your prime? I get out of the fitness side and talk about your lifestyle.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, and where your lifestyle currently is, where it will be, and what type of ailments will you die from?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Well,
and
and
yeah,
even to your point, like there are some days, like if I haven't worked out for 2 or 3 days in a row, I'm like the easiest thing in the world sets me off. Like it will
yeah,
be someone will forget to put their turn signal on, and I'll be like, what the hell is wrong with you? But anyways,
yeah,
that on top of having a family, on top of having a job, on top of having other
yeah,
responsibilities, it'll compound, right? I
yeah.
think as a business owner, I think what I would add to your thing too is like if you look at the most successful companies ever, the number one reason they were successful is because of not because of how they sold, not because of, you know, their network, is because of how they treated their
Fix
employees.
problems. Yeah.
And they fixed
And
problems.
how they fixed it, how they were able to create a solution for the problem.
Right. And
So, but yeah.
productivity is a problem, right? But also the
Hmm.
health and well-being of your employees is a problem that
Correct.
needs to be solved.
Employees need to be happy. That's where the
Hmm.
honey is.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
you have to understand, no matter what type of boss you are, what type of lead, if you're a boss, you have to understand, you have to be able to cultivate a new nature of knowing that the employee, even the down to the janitor, they're making you look good.
Mm.
So guess what? If they're making you look good, you treat your kids good.
Oh
However you
yeah.
want to look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your kid, guess what? You can't have if you have people out there who have children, why are you dressing in the best suit ever and your child has a snotty nose
Yep.
or no shoes on?
Yep.
So you're a product of them as much as they're a product of you.
Oh yeah. Yeah. A business owner's number one product is the people that they lead for, you know, that they lead
Yes.
first, and they should be given all the opportunities to be successful, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, that's super cool, man. So you've got a lot of cool stuff coming on. One final thing, you did Dancing with the Stars, and you thought I was gonna let it slide. Tell us
I
about
did.
what that experience was like, because that is awesome.
Whew, Dancing with the Stars, 6 months of nonstop, everyday choreography, which I mean, I have some dancing experience, but
Hmm.
just to give you the meat of it, it showed me to be vulnerable and understand that I don't have to meet me being a business owner. You typically always take lead and always
Hmm.
take on so much responsibility. It's okay to allow somebody else be an expert,
Yeah.
be an expert and show you how how to be taught versus it's a difference between teaching and learning.
That's
I learned
awesome.
that, yes, that and down to all the way down to the steps. I'm giving you the step-by-step process, and it's actually changed the way my whole lifestyle is, because now I can listen to anyone better, because it's like, whatever you can do, I don't mind taking your hand, or I don't mind you taking mine.
Mm.
So it's always I had to understand symmetry,
Yeah.
um, serenity,
Sure.
and also understanding each other's energy. How much push and pull actually needs to happen, because if I push too much, I push her down.
Yeah.
If she pulls too much, I lose a step.
Yeah.
So it's like, how much pressure um, do you apply to each other? And of course, overall, the dancing, my whole workout changed
Yeah.
completely.
Yeah.
Instead of push pull movements, I had to do rotation.
Oh yeah.
I had to do yoga. I
Yeah.
had to do weird plie calf raises. I was like, my muscles have never. I'm a kinesiologist, and I've
Yeah.
never done
Yeah.
this. So
That's awesome, man.
overall, yeah. So overall, it's changed my life.
Mhm.
I mean, I would love to share a link with everybody to see me dance. And I'm planning, and actually, that's my
No, there's
way
no link.
to.
You're gonna do it right now. No, 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 no. We'll get the link. We don't want to put you on the spot,
Yeah.
obviously, but no, that's so cool, man. And I think that, again, just to kind of sum up that, I think my biggest thing was like how much I respected you were willing to take the lead on things, right? Because as a trainer, again, like I'm not at the same level, right? But when I was in college and I used to train, right? Like it was always about like, you know, you have that command of the flow of the class, of the
Hmm.
client's training
Yeah.
session, of the entire workout, but also you think in 3-month intervals and 1-month intervals, where at the end of these
Yes.
30 days, I want to be here. Maybe walking
Mhm.
into an environment where you're like, oh, so I'm not pulling the schedule anymore. It probably
Right.
was like a reset of like, you know, the best leaders all know how to follow, right? But when you
Yeah.
have to put somebody who just knows flat out more than you ahead of yourself, that's like,
Yes.
because we're all like that, you know?
It's, we are. We're all entitled in a category we're comfortable with.
Hmm.
And we also carry that over to to subjects we have no idea, only just a surface level. So all that to say, I found out that I was an idiot. I had to shame. I had
Yeah.
to understand shame.
Yeah.
There you go.
But you also had to understand coming back from shame. So in a way,
Yes.
the parallel is that you learned or you refounded yourself in what sometimes clients feel like. Because
Correct.
I'm ashamed of what I used to be and what I'm not anymore, and now I'm working back. So the parallel for
Mm-hmm.
you was that you basically became your client in a different field,
I did.
and
Yes.
then wait for it. It was a body paradox for body paradox.
Ah!
Oh man, I'm
That
corny.
was
I know.
good.
It's all
No,
good
that
though.
was not. That's sellable. Wow. Yes. All that to say,
um,
but that was a good. That was a good closer. You did a
that's
mic drop. I
that's
can
super
totally.
cool, man.
Wow.
Well, so you're gonna have to give me that link first of all, so I can show everybody what you're talking about. And then number
Okay.
two, thanks so much for coming on, man. You know, we like to, meet with business owners and give them an opportunity to kind of, because look, we can post on a website and have this boring meeting where like, oh, Nemiah does
Yeah.
this and this is what the company does, and that's valuable. But it's also cool to get to know business owners like as
Mm-hmm.
people, because at the end of the day, business is about empathetic interactions and being
Yes.
with each other. So it's cool for people to
Mhm.
see you in like an unfiltered environment. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. It's
so
humanizing.
it's very humanizing. So you guys are on Facebook and social media, right?
Yes.
And everything's
All
listed
all
under.
pla- Yep,
Mhm.
you Google body paradox, you'll find everything.
Okay.
News segments, the website, and just overall and how to get in touch with me directly
Yeah,
or my team.
for
So
sure.
and all of that, yeah, definitely.
So you've got
I
contact
love it.
boxes out there so they can call, email, all that stuff, right?
Yep.
Awesome. And I'll put it in
Yes.
the link too so everybody can see, hey, if you want to,
Okay.
see that Dancing with the Stars link, here's how you can request it. So, but yeah, thanks so much for coming by, man. I know you're busy, but it was really cool. So, I'm gonna talk to you very soon, but yeah, it was really cool to, dive in a little bit deeper about what you're looking at for your business. So,
Thanks, Matt. I mean, hey,
okay.
man, you're an awesome host, by the way. I
Oh
mean, this
yeah,
is about
what? I wasn't reaching for that, you know.
Hey,
um,
I have to congratulate you on this. This is amazing.
Cool, man. Yeah, well, we want to keep doing it, and we might have you back. Who knows if we didn't scare you off? So. Sweet, man. Well,
All
thanks so
right,
much for coming. I'll let you get back to your day. But yeah, man. Body Paradox Fitness, guys, check them out.
let's do it. Change your body, your life, and your future.
Yep, absolutely. All day. Love that.